Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another Sunday evening. This is the Back to the Bible broadcast presented to you by the Church of Christ of Lake County. Mike Robertson here with you alongside of Jordan Albert and Reese Albert. Woo-hoo! I would ask you guys how you're doing, but I already know we gotta get this show going so we can get these boys in bed. But this is a live broadcast that we are airing here for our local community. Not only are we dealing with biblical topics, but we are also dealing with social topics that have a biblical founding. I mean, there's not an area in life that the Bible does not touch, that the Bible does not address. And certainly we need to have programming that has a impact on the social elements of life, because as we discussed this morning at our assembly, a lot of people just view Christianity and religion, the Bible, as something that prepares you for the afterlife, and that it really doesn't have too much of an effect on what's going on with life today. And so this broadcast will hopefully produce or bring about a change of view with that way of thinking, that very much what the Bible has to say can, in fact, improve a person's life if they will follow what it says. Be able to live peacefully with all men, even those that would despitefully use you, speak evil against you, speak against you falsely, and just the fact that you're able to go along with your business and not have that produce any overwhelming problems. And just as we have so many problems facing our society today with drugs and alcoholism and spousal abuse and child abuse and fornication and just all these different types of things, well, guess what? The Bible has a remedy for it, which, interestingly enough, when it comes to the whole monkeypox situation.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
I'm just...
Yeah, going.
Yeah, I know it. But we can maybe...
We'll on the line.
Yeah, we'll tease it. I've got something to say about monkeypox and the argumentation that they're using, and how you can tell it's completely ridiculous and completely backwards from what it should be. So we're glad that you're here with us tonight. We are live. We are going to put our phone lines up about 30 minutes into the broadcast. We do have our chats open, comment section open on YouTube and Facebook. So if you'd like to leave something there, you're more than welcome to do that. But we do encourage people to call in, because we are wanting discussion. We are wanting to have a back and forth communication, because certainly, as we're dealing with a hot topic this evening, the only thing that's going to help bridge the gap is if we are able to discuss these things. And it's unfortunate how many people do not want to discuss these things. They just want to get angry and use vulgarity and use all kinds of slurs against you. But we'll get into that as we move a little bit forward, a little bit further into our PowerPoint here. As we said, we are with the Church of Christ of Lake County, and we are the newest, oldest church in town. The newest in the fact that we have just recently been planted. We are assembling at the Ronan VFW Hall, and we welcome you to come out and join us there for our Bible studies and for our worship assembly, if you have the chance to be with us. By stating that we are the oldest church, even though we are the newest, we're the oldest church because we are the church that you can read about in the Bible. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 18, Jesus said, "I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." And in Acts chapter 2 and verse 47, we see that church came into existence, praising God and having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. It was part of Jesus' plan to build his church. You have people being added to his church in the first century. The saved are the ones that are being added to this church, and thus that's where, if a person is a saved person, then they're going to end up in the Church of Christ. In Ephesians chapter 1, verses 22 through 23, we have Paul writing to these brethren, to these Christians, and he says to them about Christ, "And hath put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him that filleth all in all." So when we're talking about the church, what are we also talking about? We're talking about the body. The church and the body are used synonymously, interchangeably. So the body of Christ or the church of Christ. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 4, we find there's only one body. So how many churches did Jesus build? How many kinds are there? There's just the one.
Oh, no.
In Ephesians 5:23, Paul also writes to these brethren, "For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body." Christ is the head of his body. He is in charge of it. Not only is he in charge of it, but he is coming back to be the Savior of the body, the church. Well, how many? It's just the one. Now, I don't find any other way to interpret that, and I'm not even trying to interpret that. I'm just reading you the passages. These are what the verses say. And when it comes to this broadcast and any of our studies and any of the discussion that we find ourselves in with individuals, a lot of the times that's how the discussions actually go. We're just going to take you to a scripture. We're going to read it. Either you're going to believe it or you're not. And how is it that an individual finds himself in this body or in this church? Galatians 3:26 and 27, the same author, Paul, writing to a different church now, says, "For ye are all the children of God by faith in Christ Jesus. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ." You have a lot of people that would tell you today, well, all you have to do is ask Jesus into your heart, say the sinner's prayer, just simply believe, just have faith that he is the Son of God, and you'll be saved. But yet here is Paul, and he is referencing to the fact of what was it or how was it that these individuals were saved. They had faith. Absolutely. You must have faith. You must have faith in Christ Jesus. But along with that faith, you must be baptized into Christ. You see, faith does not put a person into Christ. Faith alone, I should say. But faith, along with what Jesus has said about baptism, faith in Christ and what he has said, he said to be baptized. All right, my faith is in Christ. What happens? I'm being baptized into Christ. A person cannot be saved and be outside of Christ. Well, I believed. Well, okay, you're still outside. Baptized into Christ, have put on Christ. And that's what we're trying to give to this community, to this area. While so many other individuals are teaching so many different things, we're trying to get people back to the Bible. Anything you guys want to add?
That was beautiful.
Okay. We have free material for you. If you're not a member of the Lord's Church, but you'd like to do more study on it, but you don't necessarily want to sit down with one of us, we have this book, and it's free of charge. All you have to do is get in touch with us so we can get that to you. We're also advertising for our gospel meeting, June 19th through June 26th. We'll be assembling at the Ronan VFW Hall, 7 p.m. nightly, for a discussion on exposing the modern-day Pharisees, worldly traditions versus biblical law. There's a lot of discussion about the Pharisees, who they were, what their sins were during the time of Christ, and a lot of people even trying to say that we are the Pharisees today. But if you come out and study with us, you will definitely be surprised with what you find from our time together and our study.
I'm excited
as to who the true Pharisees actually are. So come out and be with us. If you have any questions, there will be a Q&A session at the end of every night. We'll give you a microphone so that we can have that discussion, and that's because that's what we're wanting. We want to take the message out, and we realize in taking the message out, the word out, that's going to produce questions, that's going to produce discussion, and that's how you study. That's how bridges are built, that's how gaps are made smaller, divisions are removed, and so that's what we are actually wanting to be involved in doing. So tonight, for our episode 28, communities that bet on casinos lose. And the reason why we're discussing this is because our community is wanting to. Now, there's a lot of debate on this as to whether or not they're building a new casino or not. I can only go by what's being mentioned in the city council meeting minutes and what the newspaper is reporting. Mm-hmm. And in both of those, they are advertising it as a new casino.
A third one.
So right off the bat, the fact that you have those in the community that are trying to promote the casino, and they're trying to blur it as though, well, no, it's just moving the one that we already have. If you're moving the one that you already have, then you would tear that one down and move it to a new spot. But what you're doing is you're adding, it's an addition. You're keeping that one while building this new element on the outside, kind of on the outside of town, it's on the other side of the river. And we are attempting to oppose that, because we are the ones that you've seen out on the street corner say no to casino with the petition, asking people to sign for that, so that we can let our voted officials know where we stand on the issue. Now, tonight, what we're going to be doing, we're not going to be looking at this too heavily from a biblical standpoint, even though I could give you plenty of scriptures that would condemn gambling in all of its forms, lottery, bingos, and all those different kind of things. Certainly casino gambling would fall into that. But I understand that a lot of people would probably roll their eyes if we just came across as, well, this is, here's what the Bible says about it. So what we're actually going to be doing tonight is we're going to be looking at it from a statistical standpoint, a government study that was funded by the federal government to go out and study 8 cities in the year 2000 that built new casinos. And what they did in this study was they got the crime reports for major crime in these different cities 4 years before the casino was built, and then they kept diligent records after the casino was built. And for anybody that would say, well, yeah, casino's good, it brings in business and blah, blah, blah. You're going to find out tonight with this study, that's not going to be the case. So what we're doing tonight, again, is as we mentioned the previous night on our previous episode, in episode 27, emotions neither prove nor disprove facts. And that's what we want tonight. We want people to call. I mean, hey, if you've got some good information about a casino, I want you to try to prove it. But you can't just prove it from an emotional standpoint. You have to bring the facts. There was a time when any rational adult understood this, but years of dumbed down education and emphasis on how people feel have left too many people unable to see through this media gimmick. And that's exactly what this is. People are picking up tricks from CNN and the left side of the aisle. And, buddy, let me tell you, that kind of stuff doesn't fly. It doesn't work. People see through it. And when it comes to this matter, the casino here in this area, there's a lot of emotion about it. But if you really just sit back, look at the stats, look at the statistics of this area as well, you'll see very quick that a casino has not been doing any good for this area. Just open your eyes and be honest with this situation. But since this is a Bible broadcast, we do want to put a little bit of Bible in there.
Have to sprinkle it.
Exactly. So some individuals have made made the comments of, well, why don't you just mind your own business? I live in this community too. I live in Lake County. This is part of my business. But not only from the standpoint of me being a concerned citizen that, okay, this is going to affect me just as it is anybody else. I have an obligation as a Christian, but let's set aside Christianity for a moment, just being a good citizen, just being a good neighbor. I have an obligation so as to look out for my neighbor. Now, Paul wrote to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 6, beginning in verse 6, godliness with contentment is great gain. Contentment is being happy with what you have and not constantly having to get more. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Doesn't matter if you're a Christian or an atheist, everybody believes verse 7. Everybody understands that verse. That's right. I came in here with nothing, and when I leave, I'm not going with anything. Never seen a hearse with a U-Haul behind it. Having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Perdition is a fancy word for death. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. If I am going to follow after righteousness and godliness, then I have to oppose that which is unrighteous, and I have to stand against that which is ungodly. Faith, fully trusting what God has said, and especially when it comes to this context. Individuals that will be rich, you're going to fall into temptation. And those that have a desire to get rich, have this love of money, many foolish and hurtful lusts, drown in destruction and perdition. And many of the statistics that we're going to look at tonight are going to prove that very point. We have a community here in Lake County that is drowning. And to a large degree, it's going to be because of this casino system. We have those that while they've coveted after, they've erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Here you are, you're hurting yourself. Now, I realize that when it comes to a person going out and gambling, all right, if they want to go gamble, they're going to go and gamble. But guess what? I can't stand for this. I can't stand seeing this. And for individuals to say, well, yeah, we need to help our community and we need to help those that are downtrodden and so on and so forth. Well, guess what? That means you're going to have to get involved in other people's business. You're going to have to make a stand. You're going to have to tell them, hey, you don't need to go do this. It's hurting you. And it's causing you many sorrows. But you also have what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 22 and verse 36, when the lawyer came asking him, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. That's it, above anything else. Well, how am I going to do that? Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments, John 14:15. You follow what God says. Not only that, Jesus took it a step further. And he said, the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Now, how can I say that I love my neighbor and then vote for the city to allow a casino to come in? When a casino, all it does is run the risk of hurting my neighbor.
It's not possible.
It's not possible for me to say that. Yeah, I love you, but I see you down here throwing your money away, and you're on food stamps, you're on all kinds of government aid, and you're just constantly going back there and throwing money away, throwing money away, throwing money away. What would I do? I would have, at some point, I'd have to step in and say, hey, you need to stop this. You need help. And that's the other thing that people are wanting to ignore, is that gambling is an addiction. That's why if you see any gambling billboards that are saying, come and gamble, underneath it, more than likely it's going to say, but if you've got a problem, you can call this number. So why would we want to promote that? Saying, set aside the Christian standpoint. This is just common sense type of stuff. Now, this is what we're going into next, is one of the major reasons as to why we are wanting to oppose this casino being built. This is a website that gives a grade to different cities throughout the country when it comes to their crime. So it's crimegrade.org. The safest and most dangerous places in Polson, Montana, crime maps and statistics. Overall, the city of Polson gets a D grade by this website. Violent crime is a D minus. Property crime is a D. Well, guess what property crime is? Breaking and entering, burglary, theft. Well, why would people be stealing in this area? Because they don't have any money, and they're trying to get what they can, snatch and grab, so as to pawn it off and be able to go back to the casino again. A crime occurs one day, every day in Polson. Your home is 300% more likely to be robbed with no home security system. Good night. I didn't see that part when I was looking over this website earlier. And when you consider where some of the most dangerous places are, this is overall crime. If you click on the property crime and different things like that, it's not going to change as to the area that's under suspicion here. And we'll go, oh, violent crime is actually worse. All right, let's stick with violent crime since it's so bad. When you hone in on the city of Polson, and specifically with violent crime, where our current casino is. And now we're doing this all real time just for the sake of showing you that this isn't being doctored or anything like that. Right in this area is where the Quatucknuck would be, or is currently, and you can see it's in this red section. Red is a letter F grade.
It's a no.
And that's for violent crime. So the casino area is a hotbed for violent crime. And where they're wanting to put the new casino is right out here, close to where the airport is. Well, guess what's going to happen? Now that area, now that community, the red is going to bleed out into that section. Friends, what we need to realize is that the crime rate inside of Polson, Montana is 66, we'll just go ahead and round it up, 67%. And 67% above national average. We have a major problem in this area. What is a casino going to do?
Up it.
Why are we not spending the funds on, if the gaming community of the gaming industry has that kind of money to go towards the rebuilding of a new casino, why are they not doing anything to help the current casino that they already have? You've got major crime around the area, and you're not able to handle the crime that you have because the tribal police have cut a deal with the city of Polson police where they pay the Polson City Police an annual fee to cover the calls that come from the Quatucknuck. And all you want to do is build bigger. What are you going to have to do then? You're going to have to I'm sure you're going to have to up your annual fee that's going towards the city of Polson so that the police officers there can handle the crime that's going on at your business.
In your police force.
And yeah, that's overrunning your police force. This is why we're on this topic. There is a major problem, and I understand it's not just the casino, but the casino is not going to help. The casino is going to make this worse. And I've spoken to the county sheriff's office. I've spoken to the Polson City Police office. They all know that stuff is going on at the casino. They know that there's drugs being sold at the casino. But what are they supposed to do about it? Part of the problem that in discussing with them is the fact that, there's no space in the jail. And so when it comes to what our area is actually needing, and when it comes in needing from help from from the tribal side of things, is helping us build a new jail so as to house these criminals that are running around. There's a major crime problem going on in this area, but it's not only a crime problem. And so when we're looking at this, all of these are symptoms. These aren't the root problems as to what's happening. Not only do you have a high crime rate, part of the reason why you have a high crime rate is because you have a high poverty level. Inside of Lake County, Montana, the poverty rate is 21%. And this is a website, I believe it was updated 2019. A poverty rate of 21%. I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, that's also double the national average. So we have a crime rate that is over half of the national crime rate, and you have a poverty level that's over the national average. We have a major problem here. And the last thing that we're needing as to bring it in, or as to bring all this down and to help, is going to be a casino. And also when you consider this poverty rate inside of Lake County, Montana, then you start breaking it down by city. I'm going to move us out of the way here so that I can zoom in on this screen. When you break this down by city, look at who you actually have being the poorest city inside of Lake County, Montana. It's Pablo, with almost a 50% poverty rate. Now, if memory serves me correctly, and I'm fairly new here, isn't that where the tribal council office is?
Yes.
Oh, yep.
They are inside of the city of Pablo. And yet, you've got the highest rate of poverty right there where tribal council meets and where the offices are. Yes, I'm saying?
The drugs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had citizens as we've been out with our table trying to get signatures for petitions. They've been asking us, well, what about the drug problem? And they specifically call out Pablo.
Yeah.
Well, what are we supposed to do when we don't have adequate facilities so as to be able to do something about these criminals? But what is it that people are interested in building? Well, let's build a casino. That'll make things better. No. The casino is only going to cause... So like we're saying, it's not going to be a root problem, but it's definitely not going to be a help. So when it comes to the situation of jumping on the casino, it's not just a matter of the casino itself. I mean, I don't like casinos, but this is jumping towards, or it's moving towards a bigger resolve, if you will. That in all of these individuals that are willing to look at the situation and say, well, we have a problem and that we need to address it. But just saying that is not enough. And that's ultimately what we have going on. We have a lot of people that are saying on social media, they're typing these things out, and it's just, this is awful. We need to do something else. What about this? And what about that? That's why we are trying to get people to sign the petition, and we're also trying to get people to sign or to show up to the city council meeting on June the 6th at 6:30 in Polson at City Hall. So that you cannot just sit back and say, well, yeah, this is terrible. Let's actually do something about this. And so when it comes to this issue, we would like to raise the question, and we've been seeing this a good bit on social media as well, people making accusations towards us about, well, why are you just speaking up now when they're wanting to build a casino and, this and that and whatever. It's not a thing that we're just being mouthy about it or that we're just voicing, oh, we don't like this. We are actually trying to do something about it. And we're also trying to look at possibly bringing about some better ways in which these funds, if they really are there, that they can be spent. We're going to be taking options to city council. And I would encourage that, members of the tribe, that they would do the same thing before the tribal council. That there are plenty of areas where these funds could be going, and I would even argue should be going, instead of towards the building of this gaming facility. Anything you guys want to add on that?
I just wanted to mention that people are trying to turn this into a race war. That's what they're doing on social media, and it's got nothing to do with race. It's a humanitarian thing. I mean, number one, I'm a descendant. Reese is a descendant. And then there's several people on the street, in the comments, that are tribal, that do not want a casino coming in. It just, we all know, living here, about the drug problems, about the poverty levels, about the abuse levels, the suicide levels. We all know about it. And so when we're standing up to something that automatically, it's got nothing to do with the rest. When you put a casino in anywhere, the rates of all this stuff goes up. And all these people know this. So why put this in a place where we're already sick to up the levels when it's like, the people here are in so much turmoil and so much poverty and so much abuse, whether alcohol or drugs. I mean, it's overrun. I mean, at one point in time, and I don't know if you have it on this episode, but we were number one in the country for meth users. So, I mean, why bring this in when we're already like that? And then going back to to my first point was, it's not a race war. It's just being kind to your neighbor. It's like, why do we need to do this when we're already poor? We've already got all these issues, and you want to bring this in and add to the people here, white, native, whatever, what have you. It's not good.
Yeah. And so on that point, when I lived in Virginia, I was battling against a casino that they wanted to bring in to our city. And our city, Danville, is a high poverty level as well inside of the state of Virginia. So right there, you're seeing some commonality as to what the casino industry is looking for. They're looking for low income, high poverty, desperate locations that are looking for a way out. And they think, well, a casino will help us to make a fast buck. That's exactly what the Bible says you need to be looking out for. That greed, that get rich quick, instead of actually, well, you know what? No, let's put money into real business, money into real manufacturing that produces real jobs, that produces a real product that can employ people long term. So here's our study that was funded by the federal government in the year 2000. It's titled "The Effects of Casino Gambling on Crime and Quality of Life in New Casino Jurisdictions." Now, I understand that the casino here has been open since 1993, I believe. So it's been here for a while. Now, so
28 years.
Okay. So that's point number one, friends. You have one casino here in Polson. You actually have two on the Flathead Reservation. There's two casinos on the Flathead Reservation, and yet the Flathead Reservation has a poverty rate of 21%. And you're wanting to build another. What do you think that's going to do?
Up it.
It hasn't helped in 28 years. Why do you all of a sudden think, well, now it's going to be different?
It's going to be different.
And
want to bet?
Yeah, and that's that's the game that the casino system is playing. That's all it is. It's one big game, and guess what? The house always wins.
And to the point earlier where they're like, well, they're just moving it. Well, when you look it up, they're acting like it's already gone through. And when you look it up online, it's already it's showing 3 on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have Mitch Brewer making a comment here, and we'll go ahead and plug that in.
Plug it.
Mitch Brewer says, when I worked in Arkansas, they had casinos. it was in the news a lot that people would get robbed a lot leaving the casinos. When I was doing live episodes, TV episodes in Virginia, one of the things that I did was I checked the newspapers. Now in Virginia, they had video gaming lottery. And it's the same thing as what's going on here in the casinos here. It's not actual, real slot machines where you pull a lever and things spin. It's all computerized, and that's what it was in Virginia. And I had newspaper articles from months and months and months, and they were just back to back to back of people getting robbed at these, man, I can't remember what they were called. There in Virginia. It's right there. Anyways, at these gaming stations, people would either come in and rob the place, or as Mitch is stating here, when you left the gaming station, they'd rob you when you're outside. And if you read some of the Yelp reviews of the casino here in Polson, these are customers, and they're leaving like 1-star reviews. And the reviews that they're leaving, I don't know why anybody would want to go near that place. So, in fact, what you have being shown here, not only from the study, but from individuals watching and commenting, we thank you, Mitch, for that information, firsthand accounts there of things that take place. Well, guess what? Inside of this government study, you find the same thing being revealed. Now, one of the first things that they bring into the discussion is bankruptcy. It's natural that as individuals are losing their money that they would be spending on rent or mortgage payments or whatever they're needing so as to cover their local business if they're business owners, all of that's going into the casino. Guess what? The casino is not very generous in giving money back to people that lose. Well, in this government study, it found that bankruptcy is another concern that arises when a community legalizes gambling. The basic argument is that problem gamblers will eventually fall into financial trouble, thereby increasing the likelihood and prevalence of bankruptcy. To determine the effect that casino gambling has on bankruptcy, we examine bankruptcy rates in our casino communities, comparing them with the matched set of controlled jurisdictions. So they took the casino cities and compared them to other cities of the same size, the same type of demographics, the same type of income, household living. And here's what we're going to find. County-level data on personal bankruptcy, including Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 filings, were obtained from SMR Research Corporation. Quarterly observations on the total number of bankruptcies in each county are available for the fourth quarter of 1989 through the first quarter of 1998. Many studies that examine bankruptcy, including those listed above, use jurisdiction-level data provided by the U.S. Office of the Courts. These jurisdictions cross several counties and often cross state lines. Here's what we find. Bankruptcy rates in the 8 new casino communities were compared to bankruptcy rates in 8 non-casino control communities. The control communities were chosen based on their similarity to the casino communities, matched on 15 demographic, social, and economic variables. Comparison of bankruptcy rates were based on county-level data for personal bankruptcy, both Chapter 7 and Chapter 13, which were analyzed from 1989 Quarter 4 through 1998 Quarter 1. The results indicate that casino gambling is associated with an increase in personal bankruptcy in 7 of the 8 communities. In 5 of the 7 communities, the increase is statistically significant. So what are we finding? What has the government actually found out? The government's found out that bringing a casino into town causes people to lose their home. Lose their business. And that's found in 7 of the 8 cities. The most significant changes in bankruptcy occurred among Chapter 13 as opposed to Chapter 7 filings. The results also tend to suggest that there's a direct and positive relationship between length of time casinos have been in a community and bankruptcy rate, as those communities that have had casinos the longest tend to have the greatest increase in bankruptcy. However, the study shows that an increase in bankruptcy rate is not an inevitable product of casinos opening in a community. Now, some might look at that and say, aha, you see there? They just said it's not, it's not an inevitable product. Here's the reason why they say that. One community, Biloxi, in Harrison County, Mississippi, actually experienced a significant decrease in bankruptcy rate. Wow, 1 city out of 8 had a decrease, and you are then wanting to try to turn around and say, well, it doesn't necessarily blah, blah, blah. The majority says it does. 7 out of 8 have a raise in bankruptcy.
Those 7 cities are, I declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, just shouting it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that's what we have. And look at what's going on in our area. We already have people that can't pay their bills. So what good is a casino going to do? See, they've already done a study in 7 other cities. Casinos did not help with bankruptcy rates. They're not paying for people's mortgages. The way they see it is, if you're coming in, you're an adult, you're making your own decisions, and you come in to do this, hey, you run the risk, the risk, you get what you get. Now, on one hand, that is true, but I don't want to see anybody lose their home. I do not want to see a family end up out on the street.
There's already a war of people trying to find a place to live right now.
Right. Yeah, no joke.
Asking for housing instead of a casino being built.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the comments.
Yeah.
Jail and housing.
Right.
Like, no, let's put it in a casino, which is going to make you even more poor.
Yeah. Let's put it in a bridge.
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
and as we said, that's not just coming from the non-tribal.
Yeah.
Most of that is coming from the tribal community.
Right.
And asking, why aren't they building housing? And so even then, when it comes to the housing that they already have, a lot of the housing is already falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that raises another question. If the casino reportedly brings in millions of dollars into the economy, and specifically in the tribal community, then why do the homes that they have look the way that they do?
Yeah. No, just last week we were installing a countertop, and brand new, beautiful countertops going on, very disgusting, dilapidated cabinets. And it's like, okay, if there's so much money going on, why are the cabinets not getting changed? Mm-hmm. Why do these houses look so horrible? And it used to be because they would get so much money because the meth houses were so bad. So many meth houses, they were moving them to next house after next house after next house. They'd have to go in and they'd have to gut it all the way down to the stud and then spray the stud and I believe redo the insulation. But now, because they're doing it so much, they don't have enough money. So now they just go in and they spray it with Kills or a more expensive Kills that gets rid of the meth, right?
Quote,
but
unquote.
Yeah, but it's happening so much. Their money was going towards the gutting all the way down because it was so important to gut all the way down to the stud. Well, now they can't afford it, so now it's just like, well, for breeze. So,
Right.
And let's build a casino.
Let's hide.
let's build a casino.
Yeah, let's hide the smell and build a casino.
Which then again, we're hearing about all the drug problems that are going on at the
Right.
casino.
Yeah.
So it's like the casino just is a breeding grounds for drug usage.
Oh, I thought you were leaning forward to say something.
Just resting your face.
Yeah. So as we've been saying this whole entire time, we recognize, and I can understand some of the frustration that people would have that, you hear casino and it's like, oh, that's your one heel that you're willing to rush out and throw your life down on. Mm-hmm. No, we are connecting all of it together. Mm-hmm. That the casino is a symptom of something else. And that's and really what it is, it's bad government policy.
Right.
Bad government policy, bad government spending, and we as the citizens need to stand up. We as a community need to stand up and say, we don't want this, we don't like this. That it doesn't bring anything for us, it only brings something for the casino itself. Mm-hmm. Now, so that's a look at bankruptcy. Now let's look at some actual crime here. Page 51 of this study. Looking first at table 3.1, the results for Sioux City indicate that a substantial number of offense categories increased significantly after the introduction of casino gambling. Of the 22 offense categories for which data were available, 12 registered statistically significant increases. Those categories were homicide, that's murder, death, homicide, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, forgery, credit card fraud, prostitution. All these things are going up. You drop down to page 53, and why you're dropping down to page 53 is because there's a chart on page 52. So you have prostitution increasing, sex offenses increasing drug violations, family offenses, and liquor law violations. At the same time, 4 offenses decreased significantly. Those were fraud, check fraud, embezzlement, and public drunkenness. Now, while these things are decreasing in Sioux City, I can see these things increasing: fraud, check fraud, embezzlement here in the city of Polson, because we've already got fraud going on. We've already got counterfeit money floating around this area.
Yep.
What do you think?
Public drunkenness.
Yeah, and it's just like, what do you think's gonna? Oh yeah. What do you think's gonna happen when you bring in a casino? And most people know, if you go and you speak to former employees of a casino, they can tell you about money laundering that goes on through the casino system. The casino system is not a honest business form. I mean, Las Vegas was built by the mafia. Everybody knows this. And yet everybody wants to look at it as being, well, yeah, this is, family fun. This is wholesome.
Killing people.
Yeah, you need to wake up.
You already see what they're doing with their blarney and debauchery.
Right. And so right there, what's the problem? The problem is that we do not have people standing up for good.
The parents need to wake up.
Parents, for sure, definitely need to wake up in this area. And that's an interesting point to bring up. So at the same city council meeting where they are introducing this idea to annex land for a new casino to be built, guess what they're also bringing up on the docket as to bring a vote on?
Troublesome kids.
Updating the city of Polson regulations for a curfew for minors.
Right.
So at the same time that you're discussing having a problem with minors, you're having a problem with your children, you're also going to discuss, well, you know what? No, what'll make it better? Let's bring some family fun into town. Let's bring a casino.
Yes.
I'm sure that'll help.
So right in that red zone area, that's where the BB guns were going off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's where the kids were shooting BB guns at people in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's right in that area.
One woman getting injured. She got shot in the neck. I think it was.
Yeah.
She got shot in the neck, and then they were driving around vandalizing homes. So there's property damage and shooting people's windows out with BB guns. Sweepstakes. Yeah. Thank you, Mitch. They're called sweepstakes in Virginia. And guess what goes on around the sweepstakes? Drug violations, homicide, robbery, theft, motor vehicle theft, burglary. All of this is happening around gambling. You can't get away from it. Biloxi, which was the same city where, everything's good with Biloxi. Bankruptcy went down in Biloxi. But the other side of it gets really ugly. The results of Biloxi also appear in Table 3.1, which is on page 52 of the study. Biloxi is unique because it has the most casinos, but also catch this, and also the casinos provide free drinks to patrons, which could directly or indirectly affect the crime situation. You think?
Oh, man.
I can't remember. I need another drink to refresh my mind.
Now, why would the casino want to give free drinks to a patron? We've already done our alcohol videos, and we've got Father Mike telling us what does alcohol do?
Because if
you're not going to remember,
you can't even count, to 10. How are you going to know how much money you want?
That's right. You're just going to keep throwing it away. It lowers your inhibition. It lowers your ability to make proper judgment. And here's a casino, and I'm just giving free drinks to patrons. Crazy stuff. Well, here's what we found. Of all the cities examined, Biloxi has the most crimes that have significantly increased since the advent of casinos. Whose increases might be, oh man, I can't believe this, who might be directly attributed to the advent of casino gambling. So friends, guess what is a bad mix? Alcoholism and casinos. And guess what? Lake County has got both. Mm-hmm. Alcoholism on the reservation, on the Flathead Reservation, is sky high. And then you want to throw a casino into the mix. Hey, come and drink and throw your money away.
Also, if you look at right where they're wanting to build that new casino is right where the bridge is. Mm-hmm. During summer, it's jam-packed. Oh, man. With vehicles going in and out of Polson because you're on your way to go to Glacier. People drinking, all drugs, drinking, trying to trying to get pinched between the bridge and trying to make your way out, it's going to be car wreck after car wreck after car wreck. So right there, I bet you if this does go through, that statistic's going to go up as well.
Yeah, for sure. Because this area just has like you're saying, has the one major highway in and out. If you want to go to Missoula, it's 93 south. That right, south. If you want to go Kalispell, Glacier, like you're saying, it's 93 north.
Yep.
And it's just, what are you going to do? And then you got people coming in and out of the casino, drunk, high, no telling, what's going on. They're going to get in their car, or if not get in their car, try to walk across the bridge and fall off the bridge and drown. It's just a bad mix all the way around, no matter how you slice it. And the other thing that our elected officials need to consider is look at the economic situation not just here in Montana, the entire country's in right now.
Right.
We have inflation that's through the roof. People are barely getting by, being able to buy gas and groceries. And then you honestly think, which granted the casino's not going to be built this year, but the inflation's not going to be fixed in a year. You seriously think people are going to have the money to just go throw away and gamble?
They're going to be desperate.
They're going to, well, yeah. And that's what the casino feeds off of.
Exactly.
The casino feeds off of people that are in desperate situations. Like, I need to turn the corner fast. And they'll think that the machines are the way to do it, but the house always wins. It's a rigged system that you have going on there. So we're in the midst of all of this economic downturn, and then they think, well, we'll put in a casino. I'm wondering. So we're in the midst of Memorial Day weekend, time where we remember those that have not only served, but have laid their lives on the line for the freedoms that we enjoy. And we're definitely thinking about them and appreciate them for making that sacrifice for us. Does this Memorial Day weekend match how it usually is? I'm talking about business-wise and like visitors.
Not sure. I haven't been out and about, but the other day when I was out with my father-in-law, the traffic coming up from Missoula was pretty heavy.
Okay.
But I wasn't in Polson. You don't go to Polson.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm wondering about.
Yeah.
Is are we even going to see the kind of tourist turnout that would normally be seen with the kind of gas prices that are out there? I mean, if it were me, I would not be planning any type of major trip. I mean, I might go somewhere, but I'm not going to be driving cross country to get to where I'm going with $7 a gallon gas. I mean, that would, what are you going to do? Okay, we got here. Now we're going to go back home. Otherwise, we're not going to
sell our car.
Yeah, we're not going to have any money to get back. And these are the kind of things that it's the thinking ahead, looking ahead, and really just reading the room and the situation that you're actually in. And so we got off of that and didn't even read the statistics for Biloxi. So here they are. They saw the most crime increase. Using the per capita measure, crimes increase for 15 out of 22 offense categories, comparing rates before and after the introduction of casinos. When the population at risk, now the population at risk are the visitors. These are your tourists that are coming in and they're walking around with a bunch of cash. That's what tourists do. They're either walking around with a bunch of cash or a lot of credit cards, checks, different things like that. They are at risk to be robbed either outside or inside the casino. Is used, this number decreases to 10 major categories. Interestingly, the offenses that increased significantly were robbery, simple assault, forgery, fraud, credit card fraud, embezzlement, prostitution, drug violations, DUI, and disorderly conduct. So your major crime categories go up. What's going to happen to your area? Robbery's going to go up. Simple assaults in the process of being robbed, you get shoved to the ground, or you end up having a bone broken, or you get bruised up or something like that. Credit card fraud, where they're scamming the card readers and different things like that. Prostitution, drug violations. So we'll go ahead and go to that before our time gets away from us. If I can find it, go ahead.
I'd like to touch on the DUI too.
Yeah, go for it.
Because the jail, we don't have a jail.
Right.
Only the murderers and the rapists, they hold on to But normally, if you have 3 DUIs, I believe it's 3 or 5, look it up. You get your license taken away forever. Well, we have people walking out of there with like 11, DUIs because they can't hold on to them. So again, you're wanting to up this horrible thing that's going to bring in more alcoholism, more drunk driving, more this, more that. Not build a jail, so we can't hold on to the people that should be held responsible for the DUI and putting people into dangerous situations. Because we have, I don't know the number, but we have a lot of what is that called? Drive. You hit somebody and you drive away.
Oh, hit and run.
Hit and run. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have a lot of hit and runs. Yeah,
hit the person and you run away. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. You hit them and then you run away. Yeah, we have a lot of hit and runs too. So that's just going to increase too, or your chances. So anyways, I'm just talking.
No, that's good. So I wanted to go to this before our time got away from us and we have to stop for tonight. So with all of these cities, everything we're seeing going up, one of those is a drug problem. Well, as we mentioned, Lake County already has a drug problem.
Yeah.
And building a casino is only going to up that. I really wish they had done this line in red instead of orange and make it really scary.
Yeah.
So for those at home that you're not able to see the key here, what can I do to let you see the key? Give me just a second here. Let's do that. And let's do that. There we go. Now you can see the key.
They won't know our names.
Oh, and our number's not up there.
As you can read. Oh, why didn't you say that earlier? You're like a woman in the passenger seat and you miss your exit. That was 3 miles ago.
That was sexist.
How dare you?
Oh man, yeah, good night. Why didn't you stop me, Jordan?
I'm gonna hold on to this.
I'm gonna get chewed out for that.
I know it.
This orange one is methamphetamine. As you can see from the scale from 2012 to the year 2021, methamphetamine use and seizures, this is seizures, inside of Lake County is through the roof. It is crazy out here what's going on. And instead of putting the funds to actually not a situation where we're just helping them get, we're wanting them to go somewhere so as to be able to get help, whatever. We need to do something so as to stop the people that are actually bringing this in. Like, we need to nip this in the bud. This isn't a situation where we need recovery centers or like Joe Biden is doing. It's like, well, we need to give them safe, crack pipes for them to be able to actually use this stuff. No, we need to put harsh punishment on the movers, the sellers, and if need be, even some of the users.
Well, they busted those people the other day.
Right.
A big drug bust that it was in the paper and everyone's like, yeah, get them. But then before the police even had the chance to go into the house to scan for stuff and to seize stuff, the criminals were already back at the house wanting to get back in. Right. Because there's no jail.
So
why don't you help us out and build a jail,
right? Not
a casino.
There's no jail. There's hardly a police force. I think there's maybe 15 or 17 on the Polson City Police. It's 17. And you've got, you're trying to work 17 people on 24/7 shifts. And for the sheriff's office, it's a little bit more than the Polson City Police Station there. We're just being shellacked by crime in this area, and where we want to throw funds. I mean, just the very fact that you even have money to throw at something is pretty amazing within itself. But then what you're turning around and wanting to actually throw it at is just simply ridiculous.
Well, people need to stop and like again, people want to get triggered and just get all emotional and be like, well, this is a race war and you're just going against my team. It's like, just stop. Like, we were in your houses. I mean, we do the cabinets for the tribe, right? And it's not just tribe, but we do the cabinets for the tribe, and we're in your houses and they're not taking care of you. Like, ask yourself, where's the money going? you know, and then you have people on the street not doing their homework.
Mm-hmm.
You have that kid coming up and going, well, I get money from the casinos, right? And it's like, okay, but are you getting what's getting put in there? Is that getting given to everybody? No, it's not. You're getting this little over here because you think that's big money, but it's not. They could be taking care of so much stuff with the money that they're supposedly pulling in. Why don't they?
And especially when you go over here, and like I said, I just had these.
Right.
I had these ready just in case somebody wanted to call, which I understand. I forgot to put the phone lines up, and that was an accident.
Do it now.
Well, how long do you want to go?
Maybe we'll get one call.
Well, all right. Oh, that's the wrong key.
Ring, ring.
Yeah. Let's see. I need to go here, and then I need to do that. That's what I need to do. So like I said, I had these ready. These are tribal council meetings that are on YouTube. And in these tribal council meetings, you have this one from this year, February of this year, where there's some logging that's needing to be done in our area.
Yeah.
And the bid is being put before the tribe to, for these businesses to come in and do some logging. And the council is concerned because there are no tribal businesses that are bidding for the logging job. And the reason why that is because they don't have the equipment necessary to do this particular job. It's a line logging job because of the terrain. You can't just go in there with normal saws and different things like that. You have to have cables so as to line the logs out. And there's not a tribal company that has the equipment to be able to do that. And, the tribal council is concerned about that. Well, why don't we have any tribal members that we could put on this job? Why don't you put the funds that you were going to put towards a casino towards getting them the equipment that they need so they can actually do this real work that needs to be done? Not only do you have this this tribal council meeting, which, yes, go ahead.
Then our forest is so...
That's right. Undermanaged that it's a fire hazard. So you would think that, okay, instead of a casino where we're putting our money over there, you put it over here so that we're not having fire hazards. I mean, because come summertime, I mean, we all know it. The skies get smoky and we're all waiting for a fire to happen. Right.
I mean, it happened last year.
Yep.
That was arsony.
Yeah, big one last year. Yeah. Luckily, thankfully, they caught the guy.
Yep.
But then you also go to this tribal council meeting from January of this year, and you actually have a tribal member coming before the council asking for financial aid.
Is that the guy in the corner?
It's this guy up here in the corner here, okay. This gentleman here. Now, if the gaming industry is bringing in all this money that they can throw around to build a brand new casino and resort, and they're supposed to be giving funds over to the tribal council, why is this gentleman even having to come before them? He's in bad health.
Right.
He's sick. And he's having to bring himself before the tribal council asking for aid. And if you watch this is from January 11th of 2022, they're giving him all kinds of runaround as to why he hasn't been helped yet. He's asking for, things to be redone on his house. He's needing some help paying some hospital bills. And he's not only there speaking for himself, he brings up the fact there are other elders that are needing help. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? I thought the tribe, the tribal council was bringing in all this gaming money, and they're getting all this other financial aid from the government. Where's the money going?
Yeah, if they're putting in $317 million into the Lake County, that's what they're claiming they do, and you have, I believe it was 5,000 natives, in Lake County,
approximately. Yeah,
approximately. That's enough to help the people.
Oh yeah, right? At least 2 times over.
Right. Yeah. So why are they not getting it? What's going on with the money? Well, it's going towards these things that we don't need. Right.
That's right.
Right.
All we're trying to do is and if people would have actually stopped and talked to us on the street, you would have been hearing these kind of responses.
Right.
We are actually trying to look out for these individuals over here
who happens to be native as well. Right. So it's not a race thing.
We are trying to help them. I watched this and it made me upset.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at this gentleman, I'm thinking about, what if he was my granddad? Mm-hmm. I would not want my granddad if my grandfather's sick, And then he's having to get himself up and go before this council that's supposed to be helping him, and he's begging for help.
Mm-hmm. And he's asked for it before.
That's why he's before them. It's because he's been doing the paperwork and he's not gotten anything. What's going on here? We're simply trying to get people to wake up to the situation and start really asking these questions. And if we do it collectively, they'll have to listen. Because they realize, okay, we're waking up to this. We realize things are not going the way they're supposed to be. Clearly they're not. We've got all of these problems. What's being done to address it? And so far, from what I can tell, it's just nothing. Like, oh, we're putting money over here and we're doing this kind of stuff. It's kind of like the same thing that goes on inside of churches. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything evangelistically. They don't do anything that's have any type of real product or help to the community, but they do all this other stuff to make it look like they're busy. Like, oh, well, we're having this big get together and we're feeding a bunch of people. Well, really, you're feeding yourselves. Or, we've got this building project. We're going to build us a new building, and that's us doing something. No, that's not you doing something. Like you guys are saying, building the walking bridge in Pablo. It's like, oh, yeah, we've done something. That's not nothing.
No.
Or I should say, that's not anything. That's just giving the...
No, it ain't nothing.
That's just giving the view of doing something. But then you have individuals like this gentleman who's in real need. And he gets thrown to the side.
And even that kid that came up to us on the street, which I'm glad he did, to come talk. And he was talking about, well, I get per capita from the casino. It's like, yeah, but are you getting what they're putting in? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, so what are they doing for you?
Right.
He said, well, they built that bridge in Pablo. And it was like, okay, what's that doing for anybody? Nothing. Okay. All right. So reason this through. Right. What is a walking bridge that you can go to any light anywhere, cross the road? What is that doing for you? Which they spent millions of dollars on that when they could help the housing, the drugs, or the jail, which would limit the drugs, the alcohol, the divorces, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Just start working on the entire system.
You know what? The meth is so bad that there's horror cases that they are prostituting their children out so that they can get their money for their meth. Mm-hmm. This is how bad it is here. That's straight out of people's mouth that we know. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. It's like, why do you think a casino is the way to go? It's not.
Well, there's also a family in Polson that they're either in the process of fostering three children that are tribal, or they already are fostering 3 children that are tribal, and all 3 of them are meth babies. One of the children has regular seizures that this family is now going to have to try to cope with, and the reason why they have the children is because both the parents are on drugs.
And the scary thing is that you hear people at the hospital that it only takes 90 days for the mother to sober up. So get clean.
Right. And that's what these individuals were saying. I was asking them, are you going for, are you able to do adoption, or are you just simply in foster? And he said to me, well, we're just simply in foster home, and more than likely the parent will get themselves cleaned up just enough so they can get the children back, and the process will start all over again. And just sitting there listening to that, I mean, not only for what these foster parents are having to go through, the time investment, the emotional investment in taking care of these children, and why? Because they're children. They are innocent. They're helpless. And then you just got to give them back over to the system for it to happen, to the children again. And that's just, I don't see how, I don't see why that's not viewed as a form of child abuse.
That should be.
To where it's just, okay, you go through this process, you get yourself clean, then you go right back through the process, and you do it to the children all over again.
I heard that the people that prostituted their kids out got clean and got their kids back.
Oh, man.
Yep. But I'm getting texts that 90 days might not be right. Could be 6 months. But either way, if you get clean for just enough, if you've been a meth addict for 10 years and you get clean for this little amount of time, you'll get your kids back. And it's just not right.
We have a few more slides to go through, but it's the same song, just different verses for these different cities. All these different cities, everything ends up going up. Larceny, arson went up in St. Louis City, simple assault, sex offenses, drug violations, family offenses, liquor law violations. Everything ends up going up. And guess what, friends? This information that we're looking at here about the drug use, the drug seizures, this is found at dataportal.mt.gov. And specifically, if you go to, let me open a new window here so that I can see the actual website itself. If you go to mbcc.mt.gov, it'll take you to the montana.gov official state website. And this is the website that the FBI and different people go to get their statistics as to what's going on in the state of Montana. They have dashboards for everything. And also they have crime rates, the annual reports going all the way back to 1972.
Whoa, disco.
And guess what you find? Now, when we had all of this lined out, we didn't get into it this evening, but we had all of this lined out for you to be able to see it with us. We went through the annual reports, and we were looking at crime rates before the casino got open, when the casino opened, and a few years after the casino opened.
Did it go up?
Things went up. You can't deny the facts. And facts do not care about your feelings. They don't care what side of the tracks you live on. They don't care what state you live in. Facts are facts. And we have a problem here in this area. And we're not just simply wanting to be on YouTube about it either. You're going to see me at the city hall meeting. You're going to see me at other city council meetings addressing these very points. This is a country that's supposed to be governed by we the people. And this broadcast, not to try to dial up the heat or anything like that, but it's a call to action. We have been asleep at the wheel for a long time. And it's time for us to take responsibility for what goes on in our community. We can't just look at the situation and say, well, it's the politician's fault. No, it's just as much my fault, our fault, as it is their fault.
Time to start tipping some tea.
It's time to start taking action, start doing something. And this is where it begins. Informing the community, setting your emotions to the side, just listen to the facts. Right. Look at the situation. You can tell things aren't going well here. And let's all give some, productive feedback, some productive sources to where these funds could go. As I mentioned, one of those would be train your loggers. You're concerned. Well, we don't have the loggers to do this job. Well, instead of building a casino, train them. Start new businesses. Are there not entrepreneurs that are out there wanting to, do something for the community? I'm sure there are. Why don't you fund them instead of this institution that's only going to take? This information it's all out there for people to find. We found it. Not on our own. We had help, and I definitely appreciate those from within the city of Polson that helped me to find this information. This is the kind of stuff that we need. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be presented, needs to be talked about so that we can bring about some proper change to this area. Just help raise the standard of living for people that are here in this area that are suffering a great deal. So anything you guys want to add before we go to the outro?
Help me help you.
Yeah, that's all we're wanting to do is we are wanting to help. We're not just wanting to get on, as we said, on Facebook or on YouTube, trying to preach to you or just simply shout for the sake of shouting. We are wanting to institute some change, not only for others, but to protect us too. I don't want to live in this kind of area where this, the kind of stuff is going on. And it is something that can be fixed if we'll stand together and strive to do something about it. So with that being said, this has been another episode of the Back to the Bible broadcast. We are thankful that you tuned in this evening. Be sure to come back next week, 7:30 p.m., Sunday night. We will actually start next week with a documentary. We're still going to be dealing with this casino issue because that will be the Sunday right before the city hall meeting. the public hearing on the annexation of this land. So we're still going to be dealing with this, and I'll be doing some leftovers throughout the week to further address this and give more information on it. So Sunday night, next week, 7:30 p.m., we'll be back for episode 29, looking at a documentary discussing casino gambling, trying to get that going in Florida and why they actually fought it and opposed it and kept it out. And so that's what's needing to take place in this area as well. If you are in the Lake County area of Montana, we invite you to come out and assemble with us. We're at the Ronan VFW Hall, Sundays 10 a.m. for our Bible study. Our worship assembly follows shortly after that. We invite all the public to come. If you have Bible questions, please feel free to bring those, and we'll address those in our class. If you miss class and you come for the worship assembly and you have questions, stick around afterwards, and we'll take your questions then. We are, as we mentioned, about our gospel meeting. Make sure you make plans to come out and to attend that, because it's an important subject, a very interesting subject that we're studying and exposing the modern day Pharisees, worldly traditions versus biblical law, June 19th through June 26th, 7 p.m. nightly. No collections. We're not asking for any funds. All of this has been paid for by the brethren so that you can come free of charge. We'll have free material for you to take home as well, books and tracts and different things like that. So come out, bring a friend, bring your preacher. We'd love to have your preacher come, and if he has a chance to talk with us, we will do that as well. If you are not already, be sure to like and follow our Facebook page, the Church of Christ of Lake County on Facebook. We live stream our Sunday sermons, and we are posting different things from different platforms. Wisdom, which is from above.
Yeah, wisdom from above.
Wisdom from above. We share that information. We share sermons from other congregations of the Lord's church. So you just all kinds of information that can be found over on our page there. Like or subscribe and hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel for the Church of Christ of Lake County. We upload our sermons and our classes to this YouTube channel, Church of Christ of Lake County. We're going through a study of the book of Matthew. We're in Matthew chapter 10 right now. And so if you would like to go through those studies with us, you're more than welcome to find those over on YouTube. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave those there as well for us to get back with you. Follow us on Instagram. Nothing too serious going on over there. Just further advertising for the Back to the Bible broadcast. Doing some humor plugs for episodes that we have upcoming. So follow us over there and laugh along with us. Have a good time with us over on that page. And our contact information as we go. You can email us at C of Lake County. That's Church of Christ of Lake County. COFCOF Lake County at gmail.com. I'm on that email. Jordan is on that email, and we can forward it over to Reese. If you have any questions on anything that we've discussed, my cell phone number is 434-429-5221. And of course, you can message us on Facebook, just all these different areas and ways in which you can get in touch with us. We want you to contact us. If you have any questions about the topic tonight, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to go through some further information with you on this topic. We'll be doing some leftovers this week to dive deeper into it. This isn't the end of what's happening. And even after the City Hall meeting, we realize that this is something that's going to continue to go on. And so we ask for people's cooperation, people's help if they would like to do so, because it's going to take all of us to really bring about some change in this area that needs to take place. So until next time, we so greatly appreciate you being with us tonight. We hope that you are having a great weekend, and that we're all taking the time to reflect and to remember what it has cost to have the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. And we look forward to having you back next time. So good night. God bless.